Good afternoon. How's it going? Good, grand, great, fantastic. And welcome to the Jettisoned Lifepod-cast episode, I believe, 14. And our topics today are going to be, we're going to do the Mandalorian review and discussion in this podcast because news is very thin, which is weird because it's Christmas. But we're gonna cover it here. Oh, somebody's
Sorry, that's me.
All right, okay.
Sorry,
Then after that, I'm just gonna do some recommendations on what to watch because I've seen a lot of good shit out lately, especially on like Netflix, which means it's available online. Wink, wink. Or subscribe to Netflix. It's awesome. Then going to talk about Cyberpunk 2077, possibly adding microtransactions into their multiplayer. Ooh, controversy. Probably not, but it's good clickbait. And going to talk Jedi Fallen Order sales because it's doing really well, and just going to talk about that and as an excuse to say fuck you to EA. And then we're going to talk about Black Friday sales and why they're here in the UK they suck. And Zam's going to lead us with that. And Zam's also going to finish with us on his weekly top 5. So that being said, I'd like to introduce my esteemed colleagues. I have Bobalorian and Zam. There's no Christine today. She's not feeling well. Fair enough. She's been a consistent host since the beginning, so I think she deserves a day off. So, that being said, Mandalorian Episode 4, The Sin. We're going to go straight into it, and this week we're going to start with Bobalorian.
Actually, it's called The Sanctuary.
Yeah?
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary.
Oh, Sanctuary. Sorry, last week was The Sin.
Yeah.
My bad. Sanctuary.
I really like this episode, but through a lot of the episode, I kept on singing to myself the Mulan song. I'll make a man out of you.
Yes, it had a very much
down to business. Anyway, sorry. But I liked the episode. I thought it was really good. I like the fact that they kind of changed the backdrop a little bit. I kind of like that we're seeing little remnants of the Empire, because if you think about it, remnants of the Empire is going to be all like, and in this episode, all it was an ATST. Like it wasn't even like the people were Imperials, but they probably got that ATST from either black market trade or they found it on just some random planet that the Imperials abandoned. So it was actually probably, I mean, it's really nice to see like what's been happening since the fall of the Empire, and I think a lot of that is going to carry over into this series, and that's why I really like a lot of, because it's always been a big question mark that 30 years or 20 years or whatever it is between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. I know there's been books and I know there's been other things, but I mean, in the mainstream media of it all, this is going to be a good opportunity to see what, because like in the one episode, I want to say it was episode 3, where they said, oh, you can always go and report the Imperials to the New Republic in the core. And he's like, oh, that's a joke. Yeah. So I kind of like, that's one thing from this show that I really do like. I did like this episode just because I feel like we got a little more character out of the Mandalorian. Not that I want the Mandalorian to open up to us as a character very slowly. I don't want, and like the whole like taking off the mask thing. Like I love the fact that she's like, when's the last time you took it off? He's like, yesterday. It's like,
yeah.
It's like, yeah, duh, he's gonna take it off. Just nobody can see him. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. I all in all, I thought this episode was really good. I thought there was some good character development for the Mandalorian at the slow pace that it needs to be. I don't know. I mean, I'm looking forward to where they're going next. Zam?
All right. Zam?
I like to talk about the episode before I give my gripes. I'll start with my gripes, actually. This is the first episode where it felt very generic. The most generic episode of all. They used a lot of tropes from previous genres. I mean, Star Wars itself is a trope from a previous genre. Nevertheless, but they went full throttle with this one. I mean, the moment
tropes,
like it was 18, Magnificent Seven, all of that shit rolled into one.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew what was fucking happening within the moment those fucking orcs from the Lord of the Rings ran in on the scene, destroying that fucking village and shit. But the moment the episode started, it felt very Star Trek to Star Wars. I mean, there was a real lack of aliens in that fucking village, man, which pissed me off. Throw in a few Twi'leks and a few this, that, and the other. They make it feel more Star Wars, but it really did feel Star Trek, and I didn't like that. I'm going to go on all about the shit before we talk about the episode. I didn't like the way the episode was directed. There was a lot of close shots. Even the wide shots felt close. Mm-hmm. You know, like I never really felt like I got a broad perspective of this village, and it made it feel like and this whole episode felt like a TV show. I mean, the previous episodes felt quite cinematic. This one didn't. You know, it felt cheap. It felt a bit shoddy. But I'm still with it. Don't get me wrong. Far from it. Not everything could be perfect. And I was expecting maybe a more somber episode. This wasn't full on somber. It was filler for sure, but I don't mind. It's about the journey than the fucking destination. You know, it's good to see these sort of things and stuff like that, but it was too tropey. There was one scene though that I fucking loved. It was the part when he was in the bar and he's asking the bartender, the lady, for information, and he throws her some more money, and she goes, "Oh, that's really nice of you. Oh, what a lovely man!" And just takes the money, totally oblivious that he's asking for more information about Cara, what's her face's character, and she walks off and just takes the money, and that was hilarious. And then it was only watching it the second time that you saw the Mando's sort of like head tilt, like, "Oh god, this fucking woman doesn't know what the hell I'm on about," and that was pretty cool. The fight scene at the end was pretty cool with the ATST. I did enjoy that. I like the way it moved. I wish it shot a few more lasers. But yeah, I'll have some more to say, but go on, Ginge.
Yeah, I mean, I found it a bit of a throwaway episode as well. I think before I talk any more about it, I think my biggest issue now with The Mandalorian, and it's starting to show, and even Angry Joe touched on it in his show, is that the length is too short for these shows, and it really showed in this episode. I felt the whole thing was rushed. It was trope after trope after trope, which we've already covered. It wasn't a bad episode, don't get me wrong, but it felt like nothing, and I still not a big fan of the script and the dialogue. I still find it a little bit dumbed down. I think The Mandalorian should be a lot less revealing than he actually is. You just should be seeing those things the further down we are at the moment. We understand that, okay, he's an orphan, so we understand the connection to Baby Yoda. That's fine. We don't need him elaborating on when he takes his fucking mask off and that he was orphaned, to telling these strange people that he was orphaned and all this kind of shit. That's, you don't know these people. They might have a secret agenda, so to speak. You can't be revealing everything about yourself. What if they're captured and they give off information, shit like that? So that kind of bugged me a little bit. I forgot my train of thought, but like I said, it was fine. But I think, like with Mandalorian, it needs to be longer. You go to a new planet and you don't really get to enjoy that planet. It just goes to the bar, load of humans there as per usual. Then it's just like, oh, has a fight with Cara, whatever her fucking name is. You know where it's gonna. It was just, the whole episode was predictable. You knew exactly what was gonna happen. Even when the sniper had the Baby yodeling in his sight, you know that somebody's just gonna shoot him.
They've done that twice now.
You hear the shot fired. So it was what it was. Like I said, they just need 20 minutes more per episode. Like personally, if I was, yeah. Sorry, go on, Rob.
No, I just when you were done, I was gonna chime in. I don't see your guys' gripes with a lot of this, only because a lot of this has been predictable. Like, the show's been pretty predictable. Like, it was very predictable when Mandalorian was going to go back and go rescue Baby Yoda. It was awesome, but it was predictable. Everything in these shows is predictable. So I don't understand why you guys hold it against this episode rather than the last episode or the episode
For me personally, it's because because this predictable thing was more to do about the whole setup with the villagers, in that it's been done in films before. With the Mandalorian being predictable in other episodes, it's just the Mandalorian's predictable in what he's going to do. But then you get that nice surprise of all the other Mandalorians kind of showing up as well. And this one, I think because of the amount of tropes used in it, it was just more irritating. That's what it was. And because it wasn't fleshed out enough, like it was all done in 30 minutes, it was just like, oh, you could have got so much more out of this. We could have got a story why she's a good shot. Are we going to go back to her, or is that it? We're done with her. You know,
there's a couple of things bugging me actually. For a start, with regarding predictable with the third one, he could have easily just walked away. We didn't know where things were going with the Mando, and
we knew he was going back. Don't give me that.
Mate, he didn't necessarily have to get him straight away. Like he could have sold him and gone back a few episodes later. You know, he didn't have to be there and then. But, you know, initially he is a bounty hunter, which is the one thing that's bugging me now, because we all went into this, maybe him being a nicer version of Boba Fett. But he's no longer a fucking bounty hunter anymore either within 2 episodes, within 3 episodes. It's unfucking believable. So bounty hunting is done. He is full-on mercenary, vigilante, fucking on-the-run criminal.
And if you weren't expecting that, I don't know what you were expecting. Because
mate, I wanted him, you know, I would like to have seen him maybe just catch a few bounties, which would be nice. Because he is supposed to be the alternative Boba Fett, because they realize, in my opinion, this is just me theorizing, Boba Fett is a cold-hearted bastard. You can't fucking anti-hero his ass. Yeah, it would be the wrong thing to do. So that's why they went with the Mandalorian, because it's a fresh slate, someone similar to him, but they could mold him in the way they wanted, which is what fucking Disney wants to do anyway, you know, with everything. So this is the way forward, you know, and I just wish we had him more as a bounty hunter. I mean, within 3 episodes, he's not a fucking bounty hunter anymore. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, yeah, you can kind of tell it was going to go that way. It would have been nice if they'd done it around about episode 6 or 7, or left it on a cliffhanger and done it. But that it is what it is. I'm not that fussed about it, because. Well, my bigger interest is, like, you know, what kind of characters do we get to see along the way? What kind of battles? More will be revealed about what this yodeling is. You know, there's other things that have happened that are more interesting now than worrying about whether he remains a bounty hunter for me. But I understand where you're coming from.
A couple of other things, Ginge, is the helmet issue as well. Now, if you watch the Clone Wars, and a lot of people do, and unfortunately, a lot of that shit, which in my opinion ruins episode 3, in the Clone Wars, is canon. All of it is canon.
Yeah.
And those fuckers were taking their helmets off, you know, like it was going out of fashion. Yeah. And now here in The Mandalorian, the lore is a little bit different with the shit that came out of his mouth in that episode. So I'm not so sure what to fucking believe anymore regarding the helmet.
The interesting thing is, like, is this a splintered group that are a bit more fanatical?
That's what people are suggesting, theorizing. You know, but they're trying to make sense of it all, and you know, they're gonna have to make some sense of it. And Jon Favreau should know this, because he's been voicing the Mandalorian on fucking Clone Wars anyway.
Yeah,
you know, so that's how he got this whole fucking idea of doing this shit. You know, it was inspired by him voicing it on Clone Wars.
Well, maybe we'll see down the line what happens with that. But that's a good point, actually.
It does bug me, because it, you know, like, hopefully it will get answered at some particular point. You know, maybe they'll meet other Mandalorian factions, and I want to see that too. Also, one more thing before I forget, I really want to see an episode set in space. Yeah, maybe they can go into a spaceship or some sort of Star Destroyer, but overall in space, not on a planet. That would be nice too.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be against that. Yeah. Bobby, anything else there before we move on?
I'm muted. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's just a matter of opinion, but I mean, totally. I feel like this episode is basically, for me, this episode was on par with the rest of the episodes. I think it was going well. I mean, the subversion of expectation is just, I mean, I agree with you. Like, if that's the route they would have went, if they would have like had a couple, bounty hunter episodes before the whole split thing with Baby Yoda, but they had to get people hooked in episode 1, and that was Baby Yoda, period. So, I mean, I don't know. For me, I mean, I think they've all been 4 or 5 star episodes, and I mean, granted, maybe this one was more of a 4-star rather than a 5-star, but I mean, it does feel like episodes 1, 2, and 3 were like a movie. The Mandalorian movie, and then this one is kind of like the beginning of the sequel. So I don't know. I mean, I felt like it was a good episode. I felt like, I mean, and the time allotted, I felt like the time allotted was just perfect. Like, I don't know what else they could have done in this episode that would have given it more substance rather than.
Well, they could have given that woman a bit of backstory, understand who the enemies are, flesh it out a bit like that.
The romance, I wasn't believing the romance at all. I mean, I can understand being really intrigued and stuff like that, but like the fact that we had to have a time jump of a few weeks before the episode ended, kind of made me realize, like, you could have filled it out with some real, with some real story. Don't be afraid to, put some story and some slow moments in this.
Exactly.
Flesh shit out. It's fine.
Personally, like, if I'm a subscriber to D+, I would feel cheated that this show is only half an hour per episode, because that's all it is. You have a 2-minute recap at the beginning, and then you have like a 3-minute credit sequence at the end, so you got at best 32 minutes, and that's my biggest wind up with this. I feel cheated with it. Not that I like the show and I repeat watch it, but come on, for the money you're spending, you should add more time to it.
So I want to ask you guys, where do you think he's off to next? And what do you think is going to happen next? Because Gus from fucking Breaking Bad hasn't come into the picture yet, and we might get to see more of the client, aka Werner Herzog, as well as the Camino Doctor. I mean, we're halfway through the season, by the way.
Yeah, I think the next episode's going to be bounty heavy.
Do you feel that some of these cast members are all gonna get together, or would that feel cheesy at some particular point? Like the client and Gus from Breaking Bad and Cara and Nick Nolte, all these fuckers coming at some point, maybe in the latter episodes.
I think in the last episode, I think they'll come together, or the last 2 episodes or something. I think they'll come together, and like they'll probably take the guild on, and they'll probably go back to that first planet, and they'll probably just do an epic showdown at the end where basically the Mando and like all the little people that have joined up with him temporarily now come back, and they're taking them all out. Like, he gathers his forces and he goes and he just takes the guild out so that they can finally be done with this whole thing. Because I mean, really, how do we see this ending? Like,
well, I mean, the interesting thing is we still, like, I remember from some of the clips is, we still got like the Black Troopers that are going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when do they show up? Do they show up in the next couple episodes, or do they show up like in the last 2 episodes coming after that baby yodeling?
Yeah, the MacGuffin. I like to call him the MacGuffin because that's really what he is.
The MacGuffin. So it's very interesting. Do they take on the guild, or do they take on the Empire? Then the guild is just like a continual thing that never ends. It's going to be interesting to see what they go.
I think the guild and the Empire are going to be united. Because it's the Empire who hired the guild to get Baby Mando, and obviously a member of the guild has turned on them being the Mandalorian.
Well, the thing is, as well, it's a weird one because this was under the books initially, and then that kind of went out the window. So, is Werner Herzog's character going to suffer consequences for this? What's his role in this? What's the Doctor's role in it? So, I think the next 4 episodes should be very interesting if done right.
And also one more thing, like Baby Yoda, MacGuffin, he can't continue into season 2, surely. I mean, like, his whatever has to come to an end at the end of this season. It's all nice and good, but eventually I want the Mandalorian. I mean, I still want Mandalorian to be more of a loner show. I don't want too much. I don't want to have too much of an arc, to tell you the truth. I want him just to be
like just like a lone wanderer does this thing, and Baby Yoda's like just the first season thing. Hello.
Hi there, Megan. Enjoying the Mandalorian?
There we go.
Hey.
Have you been enjoying the Mandalorian at all?
I have. Sorry, I'm really not very talkative today.
Oh, that's all right. You're not well as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you guys have fun.
I was fecked last week. See ya.
Bye.
Bye. All right, let's move on. 20 minutes. We've dwelled long enough on this. So, obviously, given the Mandalorian is something that's worth watching for sure. Speaking of that, let's move on to what to watch. Now, lately, I've come across quite a few good little shows. Not too many. Obviously, I'm not going to overwhelm people on the stream if anyone is watching. But just a few of my recommendations. Top of my list is Klaus, which is a Christmas film, animated Christmas film. It's like French-Canadian animation done on Netflix, and it's brilliant. I've got to say, it's got to be one of the best Christmas films I've ever seen. It's basically a spoiled little brat whose dad owns a post service, is shipped off into an island in the middle of nowhere, and he has to hit a target of 6,000 letters delivered before he can come back and enjoy his inheritance. Otherwise, he's cut off. And that kind of evolves into like,
It sounds crazy.
It's crazy, yeah. But what happens with that? Basically, it's like an origin story of how Santa came to be and how Christmas kind of got started. So from that little island, it kind of expands from that. And it's such a great story of redemption and, one person's selfish deed actually creating something more beautiful, which is kind of a unique twist on things. You've got villagers that hate each other, and then that kind of evolves into other things. And it's a really good story about why traditions are stupid as well, why certain traditions just need to die, and they're actually counterproductive. So it's very on the nose, but it's well, I say it's not really on the nose, it's in your face. And I thought that was very clever. If you're like me and you just can't be asked with the standard generic Disney shite, then yeah, I recommend it. It's very touching, does get you in the feels as well. So yeah, Klaus, top of my list. Next is Hustlers with Jennifer Lopez, Constant Wu, and a couple of other actors in it. I was surprised by this film, actually. I ain't gonna lie, it's got a lot of ass and titties in it, and it's definitely worth studying a few times, if you catch my drift. But that being said, it just reminds you actually how underrated J-Lo is as an actress. She's actually legitimately a decent actress, and she's really good in this film. The film, what's good about it is, okay, it could be 10 minutes shorter, but it does take its time to flesh the characters out and tell a story. And yeah, I was surprised by that. So Hustlers, that's a good one. Next is The Irishman. Martin Scorsese, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci. I know they advertise Harvey Keitel, but he's not in it that much. But Stephen Graham, he's a great actor.
Mm-hmm.
The little guy from Snatch. Great
Al
film.
He played Al Capone in Boardwalk Empire.
That's right, exactly. And so in this, he kind of plays another type of like union mobster type person. Great film. It's pretty much the story of like Jimmy Hoffa and a guy called the Irishman, who's like an enforcer for the mob and also for the unions under Jimmy Hoffa. Great. Just a great film. Slow burning film. When you have a platform like Netflix, which there are no time restrictions, you could just take your time and flesh a characters out. And yeah, I loved it. It's one of Joe Pesci's best ever performances as well. So yeah, I love that. Next is sorry, go on.
I want to ask you about The Irishman. I'm planning to watch it tonight.
You can ask me now if you want. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it like a good Martin Scorsese gangster movie in the vein of Casino and Departed and Goodfellas and all of that?
It is. It doesn't have the same kind of pacing and action as those films, but it's still a very good like mobster film. And it's interesting because it's actually based. Well, the others were based on true events, and this is also based on true events, and it's just really great kind of seeing what.
Departed, isn't it?
Sorry, go on.
Departed isn't.
No,
Departed was Infernal Affairs.
I meant Goodfellas and Casino.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Based on like real characters.
Yeah.
And that obviously, Hollywooded up a little bit. The Irishman, again, it's Hollywooded up because nobody actually knows what happened to Jimmy Hoffa. So this film kind of speculates on that. It's not really a spoiler if you know Jimmy Hoffa's history.
Yeah, I know he's dead, but no one knows. No one still to this day, no one knows where his body is.
Nope, nobody's ever found his body. Nobody knows what happens, and this film just speculates on that and that. But yeah, I recommend it. It's a fantastic. It's just just soak in the performances, understand the brilliance in the performances, and this film just flies by. Yeah, so there's that. Then there is The Devil Next Door, which is a great documentary about a former Nazi from the Ukraine who was working the death camps in Poland, but ended up living in America and was actually a really nice, very liked person and all that. But as the story unfolds, they kind of find out, who he really was and what he really did, and it's quite scary. How these people were just allowed, because like America did end up with a lot of Nazis after the war. A lot of them were scientists, but a lot of them were just allowed to come to America as ordinary citizens, and this kind of touches on that. And so, really good, very interesting documentary. The Devil Next Door, it's called. And finally, coming in December, I haven't seen it yet, we've got The Witcher, based on the books, which they made games out of. It looks fantastic. That's on the December 27th, so that's something nice to watch during the holidays. Looking forward to that. I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but it looks good. So that's my what to watch list. I don't know if you guys have anything to add on what to watch.
No.
No, you said it all, mate.
I mean, all right.
Watch The Mandalorian.
Of course. Watch The Mandalorian. Yeah. Okay, no worries. All right, on to the next one. So next we have Cyberpunk 2077 and microtransactions. Ooh, what is this? Have CD Projekt Red gone rogue? No. Basically, what happened was there was a leaked telephone call amongst shareholders or something, and one of the people was toying with whether Cyberpunk will be doing microtransactions, and the lead designer basically said, we might explore it in multiplayer, but only if it makes sense to the consumer and isn't a rip-off type thing. So let's see. Hopefully they don't go rogue and start getting greedy with it, because it's very easy for companies to fall into that pitfall. And if CD Projekt Red went full-on microtransactions, they've got enough fanboys that will just take a dick up the arse and just pay them because they're stupid like that. So that's one to keep an eye on. I just thought I'd mention it here.
James,
if you
add to that.
Yeah, I'm just going to ask.
It is multiplayer where they're going to be trying to make the money in the first place, because you're not going to make much microtransactions through single player. Multiplayer is where it's at. And they're not
going to introduce any kind of microtransactions in the single player at all.
But
and the multiplayer is probably another year away from being released. So it's going to be like an entirely separate entity. So that'll be interesting to see what kind of micros they do in that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that there's more chance to expand on it in various ways in the multiplayer regime than it would be in the range, of multiplayer than it would be under single player. There's no legs in single player. Once it's done, it's done. But multiplayer can go on for a long time, and that's where they're going to try and make their money. And it's not surprising, really. I mean, at the end of the day, they're a business.
Yeah, well, this is it. It's up to you if you want to, if they do it like the multiplayer is free, and then they add things like they did in like Warframe, but not as greedily priced as Warframe, then people will go for it. And if you get meaty content, then I wouldn't do it, but there's plenty of people that would do it. If it's done fairly, people will happily chime in with a couple of dollars here and there.
I think people should have a go at CD Projekt Red and say, "Fuck's sake, man! You guys made a big issue about this microtransaction shit, and now you yourselves are going back on your word. You're no different to anybody else. And fans should honestly, if it goes down that route, boycott this fucking thing.
Boycott the multiplayer anyway. You know, the single player, they've already said there's no micros in it. But yeah, if you're not happy, just don't go for the multiplayer. I have no interest in getting this game. From the gameplay footage that I've seen, I'm not that impressed. It looks very slow. But for people, this game is going to be one of the best-selling games of this generation. But yeah, like we said, if you're not happy with any kind of introduction of microtransactions, just boycott the multiplayer. That's the best advice I could give.
Fair enough.
So yeah, all right. And Jedi Fallen Order has sold like crazy. It's the best-selling Star Wars game to date, especially on PC. It's EA's best-selling Star Wars game, which goes to show you that despite what EA think, there is a market for single-player story-driven games. B, Star Wars is literally a license to print money. My throat keeps burning from saying it, and you've got to get it right. And Jedi Fallen Order is a good game. It warrants the sales that it got. And, you know, hopefully this is a wake-up call to EA that fans are sick and tired of their bullshit. To say, look, you know, just give us a fucking single-player, story-driven game. You can churn these ones out easily. You get a good return. All right, you don't make microtransaction money, but at the end of the day, we're not looking to get Star Wars Battlefront 3 if it's going to be microtransaction laden. So, you know, they might as well go down this route and an RPG route. James, and it's great to see. Yes, Zach.
It's going to be a wake-up call that will not be appreciated by these fuckers because because they'll see all of this and understand that there's a market for this, but not want it because they want to go down the other route because that's where the fucking money's at. You know, even though they made a shitload of sales here, they'll still make more money on the microtransactions.
Oh yeah.
You know, so this is where, you know, unfortunately, and this is the thing because in a way they almost like have to come to the realization that damn, we have to make good single player games and really fucking work at it, you know, in order to fucking make some sales here. And they're not gonna like that, but hopefully they'll fucking do more shit like this. I mean, I didn't get Jedi Fallen Order. I enjoyed watching it, but you know, if they make another game which is not a generic Jedi game, in my opinion, just something Star Warsy, but maybe going down a different route, I might be interested in that.
Yeah, that's fair. Yes, Rob. I was going to say, do you want to chime in?
Yeah, actually, I mean, Zam brings up a good point because a lot of my favorite Star Wars games are games that don't revolve around Jedis and yada yada. And like, I mean, I've said before to you guys and on here, like, you know, some of my favorite games, like Star Wars Rebellion, which is you know, build your rebellion or build the empire up, and you know, I don't know how to describe it, but like,
is that the real-time strategy one?
Yeah, real-time strategy. Yeah, you know, like X-Wing, TIE Fighter, and X-Wing Alliance. Those games, the simulator games, those are fantastic. I love them. And there's actually a story, and there's a really good story in the third one based on like a family, and like, you know, they originally start off as this independent people, and then some of them join the Empire, some of them join the Rebellion, and then they eventually come to head. Like, there's actually story in these games that's actually compelling that I remember to this date. And I haven't played these games in years because, truth be told, I haven't bought a joystick, so I can't play the game. So, but it's like, you know, like there's a market out there for different types of Star Wars games that aren't just like running around swinging a lightsaber. Like I do get annoyed with that. Go ahead.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if it's set in a Star Wars universe, that's what people want. It's not necessarily about the Jedis. That's what I favor. I prefer to be a Jedi and do all that shit. But if you give me a Star Wars game in a Star Wars universe, I'm in. As long as it's a good game, I'm totally in. Like Rogue Squadron is one of my favorite Star Wars games. Fucking love Rogue Squadron.
Excellent.
Yeah, the X-Wing versus TIE Fighter series, absolutely fantastic. Star Wars Battlegrounds, it's a great real-time strategy.
Shadow of the Empire, fantastic. 64 Shadow of the Empire.
Shadow of the Empire, yeah.
Yeah, great game.
Excellent game.
Excellent game. You
I
know,
would love to see
Pod Racer on the arcades. One of my favorite arcade games of all time. You know, and it's just Pod Racing. Love it.
I know it sounds a bit weird, but I almost want in a Star Wars version of a GTA in space to a degree, maybe like a Red Dead in space. Obviously, way more fleshed out, more shit to do. But being able to go planet to planet and be a bounty hunter, or
I was actually going to say,
knight or a Sith, or go to the academy or whatever, and go to Coruscant and shit. And I mean, we're a generation or two of computers and consoles.
I mean, we had that with Star Wars Galaxies and Knights of the Old Republic, but I just wasn't a fan of those games.
No doubt, but if you look at games like, for instance, No Man's Sky, where you can go from planet to planet in hyperspace,
that with Star Wars.
If they could do that with Star Wars, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You could have space battles and shit. Oh my god. Imagine being in the fucking X-Wing, man. Oh my god. Oh, like being an Imperial in the TIE fighter. Oh god. Oh, that'd be so great. I mean, it'll be similar to what they've had in Battlefront, but it'll be more expansive. You won't be in like an arena, so to speak, in space.
Limited to like 2
you can fuck off and fly off and go hyperdrive and go to some toilet and go chill out. You know, I mean, mate, there is so much you can do. You can really create a universe online, but it would take years to make a game like that.
And also, it's in EA's hand solely, and I don't have any kind of hope that they'll do anything that good. You know,
yeah.
Bobby, sorry,
what?
So you wanted to chime in on what we were saying?
Oh yeah, I mean, just like I was actually going to say something about like a big open universe bounty hunter game. Like, get the Mandalorian, but like it's a game, and like you're going around. And I mean, you could do different jobs, like where you're like, like Wing Commander Privateer, but like in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys have ever played that game, but I mean, that's just for its time back in 1994. It was a massive game.
Wing Commander games. They even had Mark Hamill in Wing Commander 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both of them.
They were great games. Loved them.
He was in the 5th one too.
Yeah.
No, but Roberto, still like having a universe where you can have the option of being a bounty hunter. I mean, fuck, if you want to have the option of selling fucking death sticks on street corners or opening up a moisture farm on Tatooine, you could do that too, in my opinion. I mean, like anything you can think of with the Star Wars related to do in this universe, that would be
fantastic. That would be a dream come true for literally every Star Wars fan who loves gaming.
I mean, they've got stuff like that to a degree with Star Trek Online, haven't they?
Yeah, Star Trek Online has got. I haven't played it in a while, but I still have it on my PS4. Star Trek Online has got like you can be Klingon, Romulan, Federation. There's a whole huge story mode. You can build your own crew. Like you can have up to like 150 crew members that you can send on like mission. Like it's your typical online shit, but it's like demonetized. But Star Trek Online is actually a really good example. I feel like there's not enough money backing Star Trek Online for it to get to the heights that it can. Like, I feel like sometimes their ideas outweigh the money that they have to work with. So that's why it's like some of the stuff seems a little... But I mean, the effort is definitely there, and the people who definitely work on the project are definitely wanting to make it better and better and better. I mean, they're still doing updates. Like, I've seen updates that have come through on my PS4 as of recently. So they're still doing stuff to like update and add new ships and add new stories and all that stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, but there's definitely room for it. It's just up to EA and how they handle it, but it'll be a car crash. So yeah. All right. Now let's move on to the next one. Zam, all yours, baby.
Okay. Now I like a bargain. I live for a fucking bargain. If something's going on the cheap, I'm happy to buy it, even if I don't fucking necessarily need it, if it's going for a really good price. Now, when it comes to sales, I have this idea of what a sale should be. I don't give a shit about 10% off, 15% off, 25%, even up to 50% off. That doesn't, appeal to me. When I see people in America beat the shit out of each other on Black Friday, I wonder what the fuck are they doing it for? Because personally, I'm happy to beat the shit out of other fucking customers if the price is up to 90% off. because that's worth beating the fuck out of someone for. That, in my opinion, is a sale. Yeah. And that's what I think, sales should be. Not a cheap ass marketing bollocks. Really, really slash that price. If it was £1,000 2 years ago, it should be at least £200 to £300 today. That's what a sale should be. I don't see that in sales. Every sale is a pile of bollocks. I look at the price and I think to myself, God damn, that's nothing. It was £3,000 before the sale, and now it's £2,800 during the sale. That's nothing. That's not gonna fucking make me part with my cash. A couple of £100 off. Really shit the shit out of that price. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna fucking buy that because that's fucking cheap, and I might not get a fucking price like that ever again. But no, the sales are bollocks. I can't fucking stand them. I don't know what people see in all of this shit. I don't know why people fucking go crazy for all of this shit. There's never anything on offer that is reasonably priced. You can hunt down shit at any time of the fucking year if you look on the internet, if you look hard enough. So why do people give a fuck about the sales? It's fucking ridiculous. That's why I'm kind of spieling on this. Roberto, you got your hand up. Please add to it.
As a lifelong American and Black Friday American, I just have to say that you're right. It's bullets. Like it's like black. No, but seriously, like here's the thing. Anything like I never go out for Black Friday, and I mean the doorbuster sales are getting worse and worse. And a lot of times they have all of this stuff online. Like if you really find a good deal, you can find it normally online because Amazon will normally match prices with like stuff I have in my stuff that I have in my save for later box. Like I always wait till Black Friday and then I go check it because most of the things I have in my save for later are always like if there's a sale at Walmart, Amazon matches it on so it's like why go out? Everyone's like, oh, it's the experience. Yeah, I experience assholes every day. I don't need to experience it on Black Friday. So no, I agree with you. I think it's all stupid, and I think I really feel like it's ignorant practice that it typically unfortunately screams American made. So
yeah, I mean, like when they first introduced Black Friday over here, which actually isn't that long ago, believe it or not, we ended up with stabbings and riots and a very fucking British kind of sale.
I was about to say, you British don't play around, man. Did you guys show up with your muskets and skewers too?
Oh, mate, people just fucking.
It was the chavs. It was the chavs. Just narrow it down, yeah. It was chav fucking tastic. They're the fuckers who do it. These are the fuckers who put cigarette packets underneath their fucking shirts and stuff like that around there. Those are the fuckers, you know what I mean? They're the ones who are doing it, to be more precise. A particular demographic of British person.
Yeah, Hicks, basically, Hicks and ghetto trash. They're the type of people that are doing it. So it obviously went crazy. So what they started doing now is they changed it from just Black Friday to like a whole week, and it's mainly online. And that, so just to give you an example of what it's like over here in the UK, so everything's like calm down. You don't get the door rushes anymore and all of that, and you can get it all online. You can pre-order things, so you get an understanding weeks in advance what's going on sale and all this kind of shit. That being said, the discounts are ridiculously crap. I saw my friend on Facebook posted a sale in America of, it was like a 50-inch LED LG TV, like really good one, and its original price was something like $900, and they were selling it on Black Friday for $150. Now that is a discount. Okay, I'm with Zam on this. If I'm not getting a 70 to 80% discount on Black Friday, then fuck you. I'm not interested. It's just another everyday sale that you give me where I'm only getting 10 and 20% off. And if you go on like Amazon, I tend to avoid Amazon because I don't like them because they're tax dodgy wankers. But I'll go on there just to have a look at their stuff. And a lot of it is just arse. It's just crap. And people that own the marketplaces that are selling independently, they're not going to do Black Friday sales because they have, their margins are thin anyway. So yeah, that was shit deals. So yeah, you know, Black Friday, it's like Boxing Day sales here. It's all fish. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing I need. I have a laptop. I'm happy. That's all I need. That's pretty much my world. Other than that, I have no interest. So yeah, it's just, you know, rampant consumerism on steroids. But when you unmask the veil, it's just another fucking standard sale, pretty much. So yeah, I'm with you guys. All
Penny,
right.
I think that Pornhub had a 70% discount on their memberships. I mean, you might want to jump on that.
I mean, I watch it for free anyway, so why would I want a Pornhub membership? Ooh, here's the exclusive dildo. It's a gold. It's going in her ass. Yeah. I could watch a pink dildo go in someone's ass, and you know, it's free. Just let a couple of adverts play, and after that, you're good to go. Right, moving on to my favorite segment of this stream, and we're finishing off with Sam's top 5. Obviously,
let me pull it up. Now, I'm not sure if you guys remember my very first top 5. Do you remember it?
Best dildos in the arse?
No, the first top 5 was top 5 athletes turned actors.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The one, and what's his face was in there as well. Vinnie Jones, people like that.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a twist on that, and I'm doing top 5 sporting movies.
Oh, okay.
Films which have the sport in it. And we're going to start off with number 5. I'm sure all of us have seen this. This is not the Jaden fucking Smith version. This is the Ralph Macchio version, the Pat Morita version. We're talking the Karate Kid. This film was an inspirational movie. A young boy who, a fatherless young boy who finds a father figure in this guy who looks after him, treats him really well. You know, and as you can see in the television show, he's grown up to be a very good person under his tutelage, Mr. Miyagi's tutelage, and he becomes a decent fighter. I'm sorry, I'm kind of ruining this talking about this film. Maybe you can talk about it, Ginge, because I'm spoiling it right now.
No, I mean, yeah, Karate Kid, you know, it's quintessential 80s viewing. Yeah, you know, a kid who's, I think he's looking for like a summer job, ends up working for Mr. Miyagi, or he's looking for karate lessons because he gets beaten up by bullies, and he ends up working for Mr. Miyagi. And what he doesn't realize, obviously, as he's learning, as he's painting and cleaning and all that, he's learning karate, and then there's a tournament and a kick-ass, and it's all very 80s. And Daniel wins with an illegal move, and Johnny gets screwed. And one of the best things about the Karate Kid, I enjoyed the sequel to as well.
You can talk about them. Bring them all in there.
Yeah, Karate Kid 1 and 2 were great. I like the little twist on Karate Kid 2 where he ends up going to Cobra Kai. Well, that was nice.
That was number 3, by the way.
Oh, number 3 was it? All right, so I like all 3. I can't remember. I'm old. But also from this, we've got a fantastic spin-off or a return to with Cobra Kai the series, which is excellent. It's one of my favorite series going right now. I can't wait. Season 3 is just around the corner as well. So yeah, I love Karate Kid, man. Mr. Miyagi, Pat Morita, Ralph Macchio, you know, they launched their careers, albeit not like stratospheric, but
well, they become cult icons now. Like
they became cult icons. Yeah,
yeah.
It's a cult film, and it, you know, created a huge interest in karate. Like the people that started signing up for karate lessons after that just went to like record numbers. Jason, you want to chime in?
No, Karate Kid is, I mean, it's a classic. I mean, it's you're right. Typical 80s, just greatness. So, I mean, I basically echo everything you guys said. I have not seen Cobra Kai, which is, I mean, I just haven't had a chance to watch it, but I've heard it's great. So
free on YouTube.
So I think my dog has to poop, so I'm going to go let him out. And so you guys move on.
All right. No problem, dude.
Okay. James, I'm not sure if Roberto would have seen the next movie, So it's good that he's fucked off. Have you seen Any Given Sunday?
Is that the with Al
Oliver
Pacino,
Stone.
Dennis Quaid, and all them are in it?
Al Pacino, Dennis Quaid, Jamie Foxx, LL Cool J.
Fucking great film.
The funny thing is, like the American football part of the movie felt so irrelevant, because the film was so engrossing and just how these guys were living. You know, James Wood, the sleazy doctor. You know, it was a fascinating film into the lives of these pro athletes who are just living a lavish lifestyle, and they only play once a week, don't they? So they're partying and stuff. Elizabeth Berkley's in it. She plays a hoe, to Al Pacino. It was just a really cool film, directed by somebody who you don't really associate with a film of this type. In Oliver Stone.
This again?
Oliver Stone.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah.
And you can see when you give this director this type of movie, how you get the sort of film you get from it. Have you seen Any Given Sunday by any chance, Roberto?
I have not. Sorry.
It's a good film, man. I've
heard of it, but I have not watched it.
It's fantastic.
It's a really nice.
It's one of those films where you care more about what's going on behind the scenes than the actual gridiron football thingy itself. That's irrelevant to everything else. But everything else that surrounds the kind of industry is fascinating. It's a brilliantly directed film, brilliantly acted. Jamie Foxx was phenomenal in this. James Woods as well. Dennis Quaid was excellent.
Dennis Quaid, man.
Yeah, such a great film. Yeah.
Maybe I should have put that one higher up my list anyway. Number 3 is me just taking the piss a little bit, going a bit left field. I hope we've all seen this and we can remember this movie. Now, I was thinking of a film to do with racing driving, sports cars and shit like that. Fuck Days of Thunder. Fuck that movie Driven. Both piles of shit. I decided to go for Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo. And this is my favorite Herbie movie of all the Herbie films. Rides Again, Goes Bananas, all that bollocks. This is the best Herbie movie of the lot because he has a girlfriend in this movie. It's
is that one? Of course, France.
Yeah, exactly. These are France. Well, yeah, exactly. And and there's the evil mustache wielding bad guy in the other car and stuff. And some of the most I remember some of the memorable moments of them crashing into, I believe, a Chinese gas station in France, and it just so happened that the mechanic on Herbie's team could speak Chinese, so they were able to communicate. But eventually, they found out those fuckers could speak English anyway. I might be getting the wrong Herbie movie here, by the way. But the best part of the film was when Herbie and the bad guy are in the tunnel, and he goes around him. He goes up the fucking tunnel. He's driving upside down for several seconds. It's a magical car. The car has life in it.
Yeah, physics be damned.
Driving upside down. It's not like a quick swirl. Like, no, I'm going to stay up here for a bit and just look at you. You know what I mean? Like, it's like fucking Top Gun, that part where anyway. And yeah, it's a lovely film. What do you guys remember of it?
I enjoyed the Herbie films when I was a kid. I loved watching them.
I haven't seen them in so long.
But I remember hardly fuck all. I think I remember at that point Herbie getting split in half or something like that.
Couple of things.
Yeah.
Before Herbie met that car which he fell in love with, do you think him being a living car gave that car life? The one he fell in love with?
I can't remember. All I know is a Nazi vehicle that came to life. And
anyone ever wondered how Herbie got life in the first place?
I always wondered that.
I've always wondered that, man. How does
we need a movie? It's going to be called Herbie's Origins.
Mate,
well, look,
that's scary.
Pedophilia, so maybe somebody fucked him in the tailpipe, and that's how they gave life to it. Herbie, the origin story is like on Pornhub or something. Yeah. Herbie comes to life. It's just for like an hour. So anyway, moving on.
Number two is without doubt the greatest saga of boxing of all time in movies. They've made 8 fucking films. It's the Rocky saga. It doesn't matter what film you want to talk about. When it comes to boxing, this is the boxing movies. Everything else is secondary. This is the granddaddy of boxing films. Even the previous films to this don't come close to this. This is the one. Rocky, the movies, any of them, up to Creed 2. What do you think of them, Ginge, as Roberto?
Yeah, I like the Rocky films. I don't love them, but I enjoy them. If they're on, I'll watch them. Rocky 1 and 4 are my favorites. I love Rocky 4. I don't know why. I think because somebody dies in it. I'm always happy somebody dies in it. Yeah. I didn't like the Creed films. I found them boring. When Rocky returned in Balboa, I didn't care for it at all. So I like the first 4 films. I'll happily watch those over and over. Anything after that, I couldn't give a shit. I just want to say on that note, the best boxing film I've ever seen is called Gladiator. Have you ever seen that film?
Yeah. The other Gladiator. There's been a few films. There's been 2 or 3 films called Gladiator, and this one was before the Russell Crowe one. This is a boxing movie. I know what you're on about. Yeah,
it's with Cuba Gooding Jr. in it. And
Cuba Gooding Jr. was in it.
Yeah, he was in it, and Brian
famous, I guess.
Yeah, Brian Dennehy is in it.
Who was the white guy in it? The kid, the white box. He looks like Ethan Hunt.
Famous.
Ethan Hawke, sorry, but it's not Ethan Hawke.
No, it's not Ethan Hawke. He's a nobody.
I've seen him in a few things.
Yeah, but he never really became like massive. I forget his name, but that's my favorite boxing film. It was fucking brilliant.
Roberto, I put the Rocky saga regarding boxing as number 2. I'm not sure what Rocky movies you've seen.
I've seen all the originals, and I saw the revisit. I don't think I've seen the most recent one, and I haven't seen the Creed movies. So, but yeah, I mean, they're great movies. I mean, it came at a time where, like, good filmmaking was just starting to come out. Like, there were some good films before that, but like, I felt like that there was a little more emphasis on, like, story and, instead of just dramatic value. It's hard to explain, but no, I agree. I mean, Rocky's always been an A+ in my book.
Yeah, the first one is definitely, it's definitely a play. It's a really good play, and it's done well. Yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6, especially 4 and 5, even 3 I throw in there. Like, they're more generic Hollywood films.
Yeah.
Regarding
arrived.
Yeah. But there's still. I mean, there's not really much of a bad word to be said, maybe apart from maybe Rocky 5. About any of the Rocky films, people love them, and people give Rocky 5 a pass, I guess, because it was different. It wasn't in the ring, the final fight, and that always makes it, quite an interesting film in that sense. They fought on the street.
Yeah,
I like that.
Film. Yeah, Rocky 5 I just found boring, to be honest.
No, but even the fight on the street should have been better, man. It should have been a lot more brutal, man.
Yeah,
they're fighting on the street, mate. Anyway, let's go to number 1. Number one, I'm sorry, Roberto, you might not know about this movie, but we're sticking with Sylvester Stallone. In my opinion, this is one of the best sporting
films
ever. Yeah, this film, is the great escape of football movies. This film has Pele doing a good job at acting. This film is Escape to Victory. Oh my God. If you've not seen this movie, you've missed out. And unfortunately, I mean, every football fan, who are 30 years or older, must have seen this film. I mean, this is a football, especially in this country. When we were all up the arse of the national team and stuff, we love this fucking movie. Lovely kitty. This film is basically about a football match which has been created as an exhibition between prisoners of war versus the Nazis. And then the prisoners of war decide to use this football match at halftime to make an escape. Now, prior to all of that, they have to make sure that they can get the plan in order, and they also train as well. And in this team, they have Sylvester Stallone as the goalkeeper. You got Pele, you got Bobby Moore, you got fucking Ozzy Ardiles, you got fucking John Hart. You know, you got Michael Caine at left back. You know, you got some amazing fucking footballers involved in this game. In this, I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. I love this film. It's such a heartwarming movie, man. You know,
listen, Escape to Victory is a great film. I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't know if I put it at number one. Probably White Men Can't Jump would be my number one.
Totally forgot about that.
But Escape to Victory has to go down in history as one of the oddest castings ever in a film. But it's just great. There's nothing to hate about it. There's nothing to hate. It's just a fun film. Just a weird cast, and yeah, I love Escape to Victory. Haven't seen it in years. I might go back and watch it. Rob,
I know you probably haven't seen this film. I'm taking a big guess, but this film is a soccer movie, yeah. But the main actor of this movie is an American. It's Sylvester Stallone. I think he just about pips Michael Caine as the main in this movie because he's the one who escapes and then comes back again to give the message and all of that. And then they have to break the other guy's arm just so that fucking, he can have his first match as a goalkeeper ever. You know what I mean? In this massive stadium. Just thinking about it all, come to think of it all, that's amazing, you know. Come to think of it. And like, you know, they're losing the match, Roberto, 4-0, yeah, at half time. And they don't, you know, like Sylvester Stallone doesn't give a fuck. They know as soon as it hits half time, they can go back to the changing rooms and escape. But because he's American and everyone else isn't, yeah, they want to fucking go back on that pitch and beat those Nazi bastards. And theoretically, they did because one of their goals got disallowed, but they brought it back to 4-4. And Sylvester Stallone near the end of the match saves a penalty to stop the Germans from scoring. And the whole fucking crowd goes crazy at the end. And they all run on the pitch. And because there's thousands of people on the pitch, they immerse themselves around the fucking footballers who end up escaping that way. It was beautiful, man. It brought tears to my eyes. It was amazing, but they did escape, and they theoretically won the game, even though they drew it. And you know, the goalkeeper, the American, became the hero. The American became the hero in this soccer match.
They had to be,
as it should be. The Americans are always the heroes.
You know what? People have no problems with that. I you know, all kudos to him, man. He fucking saved us. He is Captain America, man. For fuck's sake. He is it, man. You know what I mean? It's fucking amazing. I love that film. The feel-good factor of it, man. You got fucking Pele playing with you, for fuck's sake. Pele is playing. I saw more skills from Pele in that movie than I've seen in all the fucking documentaries, man. That's how I knew he was a badass. This fucking film, because you can't find fuck all out there. You know, you got more shit, man. That's why I rate Maradona highly, but at least I've seen his shit, but that's another story. That's my top 5.
Cool. Yeah, great top 5. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, very nice. Right, that's it. All right, that's the end of the stream, guys. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you for the next one. Bye.
Bye.